Oh shoot. Stupid fire's going out. How hard can it be to keep a stupid fire going?
I'm almost 30, and I'm still scared of the dark. But more importantly, I'm terrified of camping alone. I've been trying to overcome that fear by just facing it head on. In the last few years, I've gotten out in rain, wind, snow. I've come to really value these experiences, and I've learned that the more external challenges there are, the easier it is for me to be present. I'm gonna get flown in to an area of northern Canadian wilderness that is twice the size of Yellowstone and get dropped off, just me and my raft.
I'm second guessing how good of an idea this might have been. Whoa. Ah!
This is by far the most nervous I have ever been at the start of an adventure. I keep expecting the pit in my stomach to go away, but the further and further we fly in, it honestly just feels like it keeps sinking deeper and deeper and deeper.
Well, Levi, good luck, man.
Thank you.
Have fun. Okay. What are those tracks? You see those on the shore?
Yeah, either caribou or moose. I didn't look at it. Yeah.
No, that's better than bear.
Okay. Well, there's probably bear tracks behind them.
Thanks for the flight, Bryan.
We have a small dilemma. That camera is Levi's and he wants to take it with him.
Turn left a little bit.
Yeah. This is probably the coolest experience I've had with a pilot. Hey boss, thank you. I know it's a lot to ask. When you take off, can you stay low? This is officially the most alone I've ever been. This is the furthest from any other human I've ever been in my life.
So I'm kind of in this long corridor, open valley. I'm starting at one end and heading down to the other. And the food situation, well, I didn't bring any. And the idea actually started a long time ago for me. One of the groomsmen at my wedding, Jim, we were younger than we are now. He was sharing, you know, it'd be really cool to just head out into the mountains and just eat what you catch, eat what you hunt. Especially as I get older, I'm looking for new ways to just experience sometimes self-inflicted challenges that help me just experience life a little bit more actively. My brain keeps thinking it's hearing stuff in the bushes, so definitely that time to live. The lake definitely feels a lot bigger when you're floating on it than when you're up in an airplane. In the US, you're never more than 20 miles away from a road. You can be out there, you can get into the wilderness, but there's something about just being up north in Canada where we are a lot further than 20 miles from a road right now. And the reason why this is so special is because many of the biggest river systems in North America, in Canada, in BC, the most important rivers to our ecosystems, find their headwaters, their start here in this vicinity, in this area. And I've been hearing about the importance of these rivers for my entire life. So to be able to spend some time out here alone is just very special to me. Okay, so it's now been just under 24 hours since my last meal. And I will say I am thoroughly hungry. So I'm gonna try fish the connector section between two lakes. And the amount of times that I've fished, I could count on one hand. And I have never in my life touched a fly fishing rod. And that's what I've been doing at the start of this week. So my buddy Jake is a fishing guide, and Trent and Jake have been graciously teaching me the ropes of basically intro to fly fishing. I'm realizing that it's definitely one of those things that the more you learn about it, the more you realize you don't know. So I already thought it was pretty complicated. And then I'm out here learning it. And yep, turns out that it is complicated. No, they don't leak yet. That's a good sign.
Well, that's good. You were there for like 4 seconds.
This is Jake, and now your job is to teach me how to fly fish. Are you prepared for this?
Well, I don't know. You've never really touched the fly rod.
Not once in my life.
Fly fishing can get pretty like snooty and like elitist, or you know, whatever. Rods are pretty simple. Like they can fold down like this. They get longer. You cast them. What people kind of say is 10 and 2. Medium. This one looks a little stiffer, and it looks like it wants a little more line out.
Okay. That was pathetic. Oh, geez. What's the next step?
Fishing.
Fishing. Hey, you promised me we would be doing some catching.
That was before I saw you cast. We're gonna get classy here. We're gonna go for a classy timeless fly. Because you don't want to catch your first fish on something like this. Let's get romantic. River runs through it style.
What's river runs through it?
Fine. You get closer to the outlet, there's like that blue channel of depth.
My heart is racing so much right now. I'm just so excited. Yeah, look at that little guy.
Yeah. Way to go, dude.
And then you... Oh.
He's gone.
That's a good first fish.
That was delightful.
It's becoming more clear to me with each minute that passes why this place has been deemed the sacred headwaters. Many of the most important salmon-producing rivers in British Columbia find their beginnings in this very spot of wilderness. And that's a big reason why this trip is so important to me. You see, a majority of the stories my dad told me as a kid were all from up north. And the ones I loved the most were the fishing stories from further down these very rivers. The rivers that my dad fished as a kid with his dad, my Opa.
I'm gonna fly.
And so maybe it's partly because I share a birthday with my Opa, but I've always felt this longing to experience life up north. So as my 30th birthday approaches, and I no longer have my Opa to share it with, I'm wanting to finally live out some northern stories of my own.
I am a dog barking, a honeybee sting. I ain't no angel, but
I'm having an absolute blast learning from Trent and Jake. But the whole time, what I'm about to do is just hanging over me, and the anticipation, waiting for the weather window to get dropped off, was brutal. I never actually managed to get a sponsor for this project, so instead, I'd love to invite you to subscribe if you're enjoying this. And for the filmmakers out there, I want to actually just give you all of the hand-drawn assets that I use in this video. And I can also send you my behind the scenes with exactly the gear that I used for this trip and my breakdown of how I approach filming a project like this solo. And I actually just released my Leftcoast color grading presets that I used to color grade this entire film and every one of my adventure films for the last 4 years. If you want to hang out with more adventure filmmakers, if you want more tips or things like that, I've got a community that I run just for adventure filmmakers. So this is the place where my goal is to help you finish projects that you're actually proud of. So I've got a link for that in the description that I encourage you to check out. That's a pretty sweet space with some really special people, and I'd love to have you join us.
There's frost on the ground in the summer. It's apparently summer here, but thankfully the weather system has opened up, so this has made this possible.
Morning.
Morning.
You ready to go?
Maybe as I watch the plane fly into the distance, my brain might start to decide otherwise.
Weather update, it is frosty and it's July 20th. It snowed 3 days ago. Good luck.
Are you seriously going out there with no food, just a fishing rod?
The look on your face is telling me that you don't think that's a wise plan, Brian.
It's bold. You'll improve your fishing, I'm sure.
What's a young man to do with too much time? When he's got no money and no place to
I was
hide.
told inlets, outlets, pools to look for, bends or rivers. We're gonna try some of that here. The urgency and the desire to catch fish is definitely heightened. This is a pretty good space to do it. What else can I say? Come on.
I was headed up north to muddy my knees, to make a few dollars, to plant a few trees. My boots were brand new and my shovel in tow.
Tying on a new fly here with a knot that I learned 2 days ago. Thank you, Trent. Unfortunately, there's definitely some weather moving in. New fly, let's go. That's not exactly looking very fun. And I thought it'd be a sweet spot to set up camp. But I've been fishing this spot now into the evening, and it's not getting better.
and I don't know what to do to make it work. The idea, oh geez, my seat.
Today was a pretty paddle heavy day. A lot of distance to cover. Right down here, that's the section I'm heading to. And that is where the main river section of my journey starts. So I've seen no signs of any other humans at all. Not that I'd expect to, but usually the most beautiful spots in our province, a lot of people visit. And so it's so wild to be in such incredible terrain, 360 panorama, and not another soul. I'm sure that the wildlife around is aware that I'm here. Thankfully, I haven't ran into anything yet, which is good. I would like to run into some fish.
Higher than the older mountain, deeper than the sea. From the breath of the east on to the west is the love started with the sea. Stronger than the wildest horses in the rising tide.
You want to make adventure films? Well, I sure hope you enjoy doing things twice for all the camera angles.
At the great divide, flood waters rise, but it won't wash away. Love never dies. It will hold on more peace than grace.
In some of the other spots that we've been at this week, you see little ripples and bubbles from the fish heads coming up and eating flies off the surface. I'm not seeing that right now.
Eight days ago was the first time in my life that I've picked up a fly fishing rod. In an ideal scenario, I might have had a little bit more practice than that. But I've just so enjoyed the trial and error process of learning, and the amount of times I've caught a hook in the back of my hoodie or just twisted up my line and had to cut it all off and start over. It's been frustrating at times, especially going hours and hours on end looking for fish and not finding any. It's been a frustrating experience. A year ago, I was still too scared to camp alone in a tent. And especially when I think, and I have to be honest, being alone with my thoughts for that long is definitely something that intimidates me. There's just a lot of stimulus in my day-to-day normal life that helps numb out some of the harder parts about this journey of life. And I guess what I'm realizing is that maybe there's a larger part of me than I care to admit that chose to do this trip without food as a convenient distraction from what I'm truly most scared of.
This is not really how I was hoping this would go, to be perfectly honest with you. We've flown past 24 hours since my last meal. The daylight just keeps on going. And I thought that was honestly going to be kind of annoying because I wanted to be sleeping by now. But I'm not sleeping. I'm still trying to catch any food at all whatsoever. I've been changing through some of my flies here. So obviously it's in the name, fly fishing. These little hooks are all dressed up differently to look like different kinds of flies at different stages of their life. I started today with dry flies, floaters that go on the surface, and I've been cycling through some of the ones that spin underneath the water. That rounds us out to about 10 hours of total fishing today without catching any fish to eat. There's kind of a point where it went from I'd notice I was hungry every once in a while, and then I was always noticing it was like a constant presence, the hunger. It's so bright out, it's blowing my mind. I'm probably gonna get to sleep soon because I'm incredibly tired. But I'm also just really grateful to be out here. This is a special experience, that's for sure.
This is the current mosquito situation, but the view outside is all time.
This morning it was hard to put my finger on it at first, but I'm definitely feeling different things than I've ever felt before. And I can tell my decision making and my thought process and everything's just a little bit more lethargic. And I've been making some silly mistakes. Making my cowboy coffee this morning, I burnt my hand on my stove, which was a little silly. But it was good to get the coffee down because that was kind of an appetite suppressor and good to get a little bit more alert. And I came down to fish for a couple hours. Didn't have any luck, and I actually almost slipped on a rock going into the water. Only really want to be hungry, not hungry and cold. Now 2 days away from my last meal, I'm definitely aware that my body is sounding some alarm bells at me. And I'm feeling a little jittery and definitely just, definitely aware of the lack of nutrition. I am. This is maybe the first time in the experience where I'm second guessing how good of an idea this might have been. I mean, maybe it would have been okay to bring some snacks and just catch my main meals. Maybe that would have been a better plan. But I'm in it. And the only way through it is down the river and the float plane on the other side. But I'd very much like to catch some fish today. I came down here to fish this morning and didn't really have any luck catching anything. And so it's definitely time to break down camp and just move further down the river. And this next section of river is definitely what I'm most excited about on this trip. What I was learning earlier this week is that the trout in these water systems most likely want to hang out in an area that has some protection. So I'm looking for these spots with boulders or slower moving deep pools. But I don't know where else to fish on this river because this is what I'm on. I don't know where the fish are hanging out. Don't know. I've burned through so many memory cards and batteries already on this trip, just setting up shots of me casting and catching nothing and just letting it roll, hoping that this would be the joyous moment that I finally catch some food. Let's move further down the river. Well, I just had the scary realization that when you hit a rock, it almost flips you over. Obviously that should go without saying, but well, going to bed last night actually went really well. Turns out that sleep is a pretty good antidote for hunger. And I did sleep pretty good, except for getting spooked thinking I heard a bear a couple times. There's a lot of bugs out and it was freezing again last night, so I wasn't in a huge rush to leave my comfy tent. I'm experiencing new feelings and new sensations that whew. Whoa. Oh. Well, that's still pretty mellow, all things considered, but fun to spice it up a little bit. I've only got a few corners left in this section, and then we should arrive at, in theory, what should be the best fishing opportunity of this trip. There's a convergence point of a couple different river systems, and then it dumps out into a lake. So there should be a pretty good drop off there where hopefully the fish are hanging out. It's now been 52 hours since I ate a meal last. Right now, I very much just want to go lie down and sleep. But I'm also worried if I sleep, I'll crash out and not have enough energy to wake back up and fish again. I think I should be responsible and fish first. And I'm going to give myself 2 hours. 2 hours to catch a fish. If not, I'm going to pull out the old satellite device and probably call it in. Ah! like the idiot that I am, I knocked off several flies today. Now I'm down to 4 flies. Oh, no way. Did you see that? No way. There's a fish that jumped right there. Either I'm hallucinating or there's fish here. Let's go. Let the line sink. Yeah! No! Ah! Okay, my fly's still there. Okay, this is still game on. It's okay. Oh my gosh, my heart is racing. Come on! Fish on! Come on! Come on, keep tension, keep tension. No! No! What? I lost my hook to that last guy. Officially down to 3 flies. That sucks, man. Are you serious? On goes the dry fly. This is the fly that I began fishing with at the start of this trip. That's the one. Come on. That's the one for sure. That's out there. Yeah! Don't take my fly. Don't do it. Okay. Come on. Stay on. No! Shit! I dropped the fish. I dropped the fish, man. I dropped the fish. I had the fish in my hands and I dropped it. Oh my word, I dropped the fish. Okay, next fish I get on, no yelling. No yelling, just catching. How about that? It's in my hand and I let it just back into the water. So dumb. We just crossed the 2-hour point that I said I was gonna pull out the sat phone and phone it in. But I'm not ready to call it in though. Well, I have to say, this has got to be one of the most beautiful camps I've ever set up at. I think part of what was going wrong earlier is that the adrenaline when a fish would bite the hook was just so extreme that I was kind of just, I was just so excited when a fish would bite. Now I'm ready to just relax. I'm just gonna settle into a groove. I'm gonna send out some line and I'm just gonna see what happens. Don't break the line, please, please, please. Come here, buddy. I've got a death grip on this fish, man. Thank you, buddy. Oh. Ah. Fish jumping, eh? Fish jumping. Can't drop him if he's on the beach, can I? Oh man. Oh my word. Oh man.
The water will come up closer because the tide has gotta rise. I sit here, the ground shrinking, trying to metaphorize. And the only thing that occurs to me while listening to the wind is who needs a metaphor when you're staring at what is.
My excitement is building to see my kids and to share with them some of my own fishing stories from up north. I'd kind of been bracing for a moment that would be some big moment, some kind of profound understanding of myself that I'd arrive at. And I'm not sure if that's happened. I was hoping that my fear of being alone would be less by the time that this trip was over. And I can't really say that that's the case. But what I can say is that when enough time goes by for those thoughts and feelings that I usually try to avoid inevitably come up, I've learned that I can sit in that space even with the fear. I feel oddly more ready to just keep doing life as the person that I am. And that is a gift that I didn't expect this place to give me.
A feeling that's just been settling in for me in sort of just these waves, just observing the sheer lack of accountability I've had for playing my part in looking after spaces like this.
And I'm realizing just how grateful I am that there's people before me who cared. And I want to play a part in the lineage that comes after that. And what shape and form that takes, at this point, I'm not too sure. But I do know that it's far more important what I do when this camera turns off and when I go home and I get back to my normal.